Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Meet Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, President, Founder, and Chief Listening Officer of USA Global TV and Radio. She is a certified life, career, and executive coach. Dr. Jacalyn is the Amazon #1 best-selling author of Behind the Green Screen and Adversity to Awesome. As the listening mentor, she teaches children and their families how to listen at an elevated level through the book series titled The Amazing Adventures of Lady Ella, the Listening Mentor. The Creative Hearts Awakening book series features heart-centric creatives who share their awakening journey. Through the Power of Listening educational course platform, people can get certified as elevated listeners on USA Global TV and Radio. Learn how to center yourself and align with nature through the power of nature, plants, and shrines. The Journey of Chakra Psychology course will educate you on the chakras and their meaning. The Intuition of the Heart course will help you understand how to trust your intuition. Learn how to face the shadows of self and understand the impact of following trends and materialism. Set boundaries and ask for permission to help establish better relationships, deeper connections, and more authentic conversations. Take your communication expertise to a higher level with the course for curious humans. After all, we are not robots. Looking to start your own podcast platform? Get everything you need in the Podcaster Pro package with Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. How can music, breath, and your voice set you free? Find out with the Power of Listening courses. Dr. Jacalyn is a certified meditation teacher, yoga instructor, and Juice Plus distributor. She will help you create a plan for your healthy lifestyle. As an expert in the art of interviewing with over 3,000 hosted and/or produced live broadcasts, Dr. Kerbeck helps her clients stand out as global broadcasters. Dr. Kerbeck's books are available on Amazon. Start your listening journey by reading. Tune into the Listening Mentor TV show, Fridays on USA Global TV, and learn how listening can be your superpower. Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, MBA, DBA, Certified Holistic Life, Career, and Executive Coach, Certified Yoga Sculpt Teacher, Certified Meditation Teacher, the Listening Mentor, Singer-Songwriter, Founder, President, Chief Listening Officer of USA Global TV and Radio. drjacalyn.com. Thank you to all our elevated listeners, team members, animal characters, and co-authors. Contact us at 215-852-9406. Jacalyn at drjacalyn.com.
Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. I am Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and our show today is Talking Heads. I'm super excited to be back. I don't think I've been on Talking Heads for probably a year or so. I've been busy growing our platform, but I've never stopped learning how to listen at an elevated level. I've been inspired recently by a number of conversations with people to put together this particular episode, which is how judgment impacts our ability to listen. So I've met with a number of people, I've taught a number of courses, and one thing that really resonates for me is that most of us think that we're really good listeners. In fact, I asked people to rate themselves on a scale of 1 to 10 about how well they're listening. And invariably, it's always a 6 or above. So if everybody is listening at an elevated level and listening authentically, holistically, and completely focused on listening, why is there so much strife in the world? Why are there so many divorces? Why are there so many broken relationships and broken families? There's a lot of reasons, but listening is at the core of them. And judgment plays a big role. You may not realize that you're judging someone by an offhanded comment or something that you meant well, and meanwhile, they took it to heart. So I'll just stop there and say to you that I am the listening mentor. That is my branding. That is my personal brand, drjacalyn.com, where I teach people how to listen at an elevated level through courses, through coaching, and through our children's series of books. So today we're going to talk about judgment. What is judgment? Judgment is when we share our opinion, our feelings, our perspective with someone else, and the person did not ask for our opinion or our perspective, but yet we feel inclined that we have to give it. And this could even be something as innocuous as, I don't think you should do that. That seems like a stupid idea. Why are you wasting your time on that? That looks ridiculous. Why'd you put that on? All these things are negative comments that come across in the course of a conversation or in the course of a relationship with someone, and they really have very detrimental impact. So what I want to couch this conversation with is that today we're talking about elevated listening. Elevated listening means listening without judgment, listening without interruption, listening without providing a solution, and listening without stage hogging. If you've taken any of my courses, you know that a big part of listening comes in with asking permission and setting boundaries. So we can't obviously go through all the things that we teach on our education platform, The Power of Listening, but today we'll focus on judgment. And again, as it relates to elevated listening. So what I want to share with you is if you are someone who is listening at an elevated level, you're listening without multitasking, you're listening without doing anything else, you're completely and totally present and focused. How do I know this? Because I do this all week long. In fact, when I was watching that clip, Meet Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, I was laughing because it's an older clip, and I think I've done 5,000 shows since, and that said 3,000. That's a lot of people that I get to listen to. I also get to interact with a number of people, and I watch human behavior. I watch when people are cutting people off. I watch when someone's sharing a story about something that happens to them and somebody rolls their eyes, or their body language. It dictates the fact that they're now judging the other person. So what I'd like you to take away from this 30-minute session today is looking at your own behavior and where can you kind of clean up your judgmental comments, your side offhand comments, your perspective that is not being asked for, and really just be a good listener. So if you give someone the space and the time and your entire focus for a limited period of time, that is truly a gift that you are giving to someone else. Let's start off by looking at a role play. And I always like to say this when I share role plays. These role plays are directed by me. They are professional actors who are acting out a scene. So even though you may see a name on the screen, that doesn't mean that this is a real life situation. That means that that was the person's computer that they were using. So I would like to say thank you to Christine, Amy Artner, as well as Fiona and Anna Vera for putting together this role play on judgment. Let's take a look. And I ask you while you're watching, are you judging one of the people in the role play? Let's take a look.
Mary, Oh my God!
Hey! Oh my God, how are you doing?
I'm good, and you?
I'm perfect. Just got my third vaccination.
Oh, really? You did that stuff?
Yeah.
Oh no! It's so bad for your health. Did you know what you do there? Oh, it's so bad. You can die of it. Do you know what's in there? You really trust it? Oh my God, I would never trust that. I'm so healthy, I tell you. I never got this vaccination and I had it and it was no problem. It was really no problem for me. I don't know what you're doing. Maybe you're dying in 2 years.
Yeah, I don't care. I'd rather die of my vaccinations than from COVID.
You're going to die from this vaccination. I was at demonstrations and I really heard things you never wanted to know. You never wanted to know what you did.
I had no idea you were one of those tinfoil people.
Tinfoil people?
Tinfoil hat? Are you wearing your tinfoil hat?
I just tell the
I
truth.
can't believe it.
I tell you the truth. It's the truth.
No way.
It's the
No,
truth.
no. Stop right there. I'm gonna. No way. No.
Wow, I've seen that so many times and I still get a pain in my chest when I watch it because I think to myself, this is going on all over the world all the time. Now, for this particular role play, this was about vaccinations. And obviously this was during the COVID time period, and people literally lost family members, lost friends, relationships were ruined because one person believed in getting the vaccinations and the other didn't. So you could see from that role play, even though they were acting, that in real life, that relationship would have been really challenged about how they were going to move forward. And also what I want to point out is when the person, the one actress was speaking to the other one, about the fact that she got the vaccinations and how she could be so stupid and all those other things. Then she turned and said, oh, what are you, one of those tinfoil people? So then she actually started attacking the other person. So you have two people attacking each other and no one's listening. So anytime you're having a conversation with someone, I want you to think to yourself, am I fully present? Am I completely engaged with what they're saying? Did I tell my partner, did I tell my sibling, my parent, my friend that I would listen for the next 20 minutes to what you had to say? I give you my undivided attention. And yet during that time, I'm thinking things in my mind, either about what they're saying or things that I have to do later, or this is a stupid thing to bring up, or I'm not interested in what they have to say. All those things are negative and they do not support a foundation of elevated listening. So I'm not here to judge anyone. I'm just here to provide education and information and maybe have you look at things from a different perspective. Now, if someone contacts you and they want to share something with you and you're in the middle of doing something, they call on the phone. This happens all the time. You see the person's name, you know them, you think, okay, it's my brother. I'm going to pick up the phone. And the person just starts going on and on and on, and you're in the middle of doing something. They didn't ask for permission. Hey, Susan, is this a good time for me to share something with you? Actually, it's really not. Or yes, it is. I've got about 10 minutes. So in the meantime, the person who's on the other end of the phone is thinking, I've got to get off this phone call. I've got to get back to my project. What this person's saying is stupid. I don't have the time for it. All these things are judgments. So when you frame something up in a certain way by asking for permission, John, I'd like to share something that happened at work today. It will take about 25 minutes. Do you have the time now? And John comes back and says, no, I don't. That is a gift. Because if John is busy doing something else and says that John will listen to you, John can't be listening to you while John's doing something else. That's not elevated listening. So if a person says, I don't have the time now, take that as a gift and say, okay, this person doesn't have time for me. If I were to continue anyway, they're not going to be listening to me and I'm going to be frustrated. What happens in a situation like that is there's a lot of judgment. What I'm doing right now is more important than what this person is talking about. Have you ever been in a situation like that? You had something that happened to you in your day and you want to tell your significant other or your partner, and they're in the midst of doing something that they think is important. And then they turn to you and say, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I'm over here doing X, Y, Z, and you want to interrupt me to tell me about your girlfriend and the fact that she gained weight or she was wearing a tight dress. That is so stupid. Now labeling comes in. People start feeling animosity towards one another. And also people start shrinking in terms of their confidence level, and it pulls people apart. Let's go back to the role play. In the role play, we have two friends who run into each other and they're really happy to see one another. You can feel that and see that. And then one person says they just came from getting a vaccination. The other person immediately puts her down, insults her, doesn't just take a step back and listen, because we don't even know what else she was going to say. She might have been saying, I ended up getting this vaccination because my whole family got COVID and my doctor advised me that we don't even know what the situation was because she didn't have a chance to speak. And that's also something called stage hogging, when someone's speaking and you decide that what you have to say is more important than what they have to say. So in the role play, we have one person attacking the other, and then that second person ends up attacking the first person. I want you to think about situations in your own life. It could have been a very seemingly meaningless conversation that somebody really got offended. And they got offended because you made a comment that was not appropriate. We're talking again about elevated listening. Elevated listening is listening with complete focus and dedication for a specific period of time. Now, one thing I want to share with you in order to avoid judgment is, again, asking for permission and setting boundaries. Would this be a great time to talk with you about the fact that I think our relationship is falling apart? No, actually, it's not, because I'm on a television show right now. I can't really talk to you. Or somebody comes up to you with, I just got some test results and I'm really upset about them, and I'd like to talk to you about it now while you're presenting to a team of people on Zoom. You can't do two things at one time. So when you have something that's really significant, go back to setting boundaries and asking permission. So, sweetheart, I really have something to share with you. It's about our relationship, and I think it's going to take some amount of time. I'm thinking that it's going to take 3 or 4 hours. What are you, out of your mind? There's nothing wrong with our relationship. Judgment, not listening. Once the person agrees to that 3 or 4 hours of time, that's all that takes place during the 3 or 4 hours of time. It's also important to point out that if you ask for 3 or 4 hours of time, that's what it is. It's 3 or 4 hours of time. It's not, let's talk this until 3 o'clock in the morning when you have to work the next day. So the tips that I'm giving today are to help you have better relationships, deeper connections, and more authentic conversations. It's not to solve all of the problems in the world, but it's to look at our own relationships and look at how we are treating other people. You may already be an elevated listener, but you may be living in a family or a community or a group where people are not listening at an elevated level. You may be judging them because they don't have the skill set that you have. So that's not helpful either. So what should you do? You should get them trained on how to listen at an elevated level, or have a third party involved so that you're not butting heads. But anytime that you're not on the same level in terms of self-care, self-development, you're going to have issues with people. And that's, again, where a lot of judgment comes up. We're going to look at another role play. And this particular role play is a father and a daughter. And again, it's a role play. It was directed by me. The reason why I'm showing this particular role play is because as parents, and I'm not a parent, I'm an educator, I'm an instructor. That's what my role is here. As parents, many times you judge your children based on what you think is best for them. And you see them possibly going down a path that you don't agree with, because with your years of education and experience and things that happen to you in life, you know that it's going to be a tough road for them if they go this path. What I want you to start thinking about is, how can you respect what it is that they want to do, and at the same time honor what you believe? How is it possible to do that? Let's take a look at this role play, and then we'll see if anybody has questions. Feel free to pop questions into the comments. I'd really appreciate it. And again, these are people who are acting out a role play.
Daddy, you know, I've been thinking, and I don't really want to be a doctor. I want to be an actress, like those I see on the TV, like Gabrielle Union, like Taraji P. Henson. They're rich, they're popular, they're famous, and their lives look so nice. And I think I can be just like them.
No, being an actress will not help you. Being a doctor would be a better choice. You know, being an actor involves too many moving parts. The human body will never change. And once you go through the mill and become a doctor, you are set for life. Reconsider your decision. It will really help you.
I think you're wrong. I think if I apply myself and give it everything I got, I can be just like them. You know, the world makes opportunities for those who are willing and able. And I think if I work just as hard, I can achieve whatever I want to achieve and be just as successful and rich and famous and live in Hollywood and have a nice house.
Willing and able is just a necessary condition, not a sufficient one. Right? Picking and choosing wisely your career will go a long way to help you in the future. And I urge you to choose becoming a doctor or maybe a pharmacist, right? And I think that will really, really help you, and it will make you that rich person who, you know, has opportunities for jobs in the different states and all over the world, rather than a hit or miss job like an actress. Reconsider your decision. I disagree for you to become an actress.
All right, so that was a father-daughter. The daughter wants to follow one career path, and the father wants her to follow a different career path. Now, you probably have had this experience in your own home, or you know of someone, or as a parent, you can think of countless times when your children wanted to do something and you disagreed with it. So what do we have as a takeaway from this role play? We have the body language. We can look at the daughter, we can look at her body language, we can look at the father's body language. You have two people who are very unhappy, just like the other role play, two people who are very unhappy. So again, remember, the focus is to learn how to listen and provide a safe space for people to share. So in the father-daughter role play, it could have been handled in a completely different way. Instead, the daughter's frustrated and maybe the father's afraid. But they're both feeling lower vibrations. They're both feeling low energy, and neither one is celebrating what the other one has to say. And this happens all the time across the world in countless encounters and relationships in companies. It goes on and on and on. So in this particular situation, one way that it could have been handled is as follows. Daddy, I want to talk to you about my career. And what I have to say may not be in alignment with what you think is best for me. But would you please be open to listening what I have to say for the next 20 minutes? Can you listen without interrupting? You know what, sweetheart? I think I can do that. Then the daughter starts and says what she has to say. And then the father pauses after she's finished. He doesn't jump in and cut her off. He doesn't start stomping his hands and putting his hands on his hips and saying, dumb, stupid, dumb. No, he just listens. And at the end, thank you, daughter, for sharing that with me. I wasn't aware that you wanted to become an actress. I always thought that you wanted to be a doctor. No, Daddy, I didn't want to become a doctor. You wanted me to become a doctor. Well, I'm interested to hear why you'd like to become an actress. And maybe we can look at the pros and cons of becoming an actress versus a doctor and see if together we can come up with what is best for you. What are your thoughts on that? Wow, Dad, that sounds great. I'm so glad that you're interested and also that you're giving me this time to have this conversation with me. So, how you frame things up, how you approach things makes a big difference. When you are encountering someone who has a completely opposite perspective of you, whether you're engaged in the conversation or not, social media, for example, I am literally speechless at so much negativity, downright cruelty that I read on social media by someone posting something and one person doesn't agree with it. I just saw in a news article that somebody was elected to office in a local county, and then one person wrote in all these curses and now I can't even believe they printed it about this person and how horrible they are, et cetera, et cetera. And I thought to myself, what must be going on for that person in their body that they would be so cruel in a public domain? So think about your own actions and think about how people have treated you. When people have disrespected you, when people have judged you, think about what that felt like in your heart and soul. And remember that you don't want to do that to someone else. So, just to recap as we close out today, elevated listening is not something you can do 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It is a gift that you give to someone else to be completely and utterly focused. Does that mean that you can be scrolling on your phone while the person is talking to you? No, you're not paying attention. Does that mean while you're watching this show, if you really want to learn something, that you can be doing 10 other things? No, because you're going to miss something. So, elevated listening is a special set of skills, and we have a team of people from across the world who have taken the time, who have made the investment to learn how to listen at an elevated level. Does that mean that they're experts? No. Am I an expert? No. There's always something more to learn. And at the core, we are all human beings. What gets in the way? Why are we judgmental? Why do we cut people off? Why do we steal the stage? Why do we give solutions that no one asks for? Because we're in our ego, and also because we're highly emotional. When we're emotional, we can't control ourselves, and therefore we take what we're feeling and we push it on someone else. And I'll give a quick example. I recently was contacted by someone about something, and there was a lot of negativity in the text string. And I thought to myself, wow, I really feel like I'm being judged for some reason. And yet I don't know what it is I'm being judged for, because I don't recall having any disagreements with this person. And I'm not really sure what's going on. So lo and behold, I had a conversation with the person. They're going through a hard time, and they just took it out on me via text. So I didn't judge the person. I decided to get to the bottom of it. I reached out and I said, hey, is everything okay with you? I'm sensing some negative energy that you passed through to me, and I'm not taking it in, but I'm concerned about you. How can I help? And lo and behold, there was a problem. And so we talked through the problem, and then the person actually apologized to me for putting that out on me. And now we have a great relationship again. So I'd like you to think about, who is it that you're not getting along with? Who is it that you're having strife with, whether it's at home, it's business, it's a client? And how can you be a better listener? How can you extend your hand to help that person? Maybe their perspective is different. Maybe they're pro-vaccination and you're not. Maybe they're pro-abortion and you're not. Maybe they're one political party and you're not. Can't you learn something from them without judging them? We don't want people who are cookie cutters, all the same, all across the world. That's actually very boring, in my opinion. And that's a judgment that I just made. See how easy it is? So by celebrating each other, by lifting each other up, by providing a safe space for people to listen, we will have better connections. We will have more high quality relationships, and people will actually enjoy getting together and connecting. So that's what I wish for you. I thank you so much for joining me today. I will be coming back every week with my Talking Head segment, and I'm very excited. If you are not aware, we have partnered with E360 TV, and I will be taking my Talking Head segment over E360 television in addition to USA Global TV and radio. And that means that more people across the world will hear about the power of listening. And my goal is to make an impression on as many people as possible to please look at your own behavior when it comes to listening, and where is it that you can give that special gift to someone in your life that they know that you really care about them and they truly have been heard. Also, as a selfish plug, we have a series of children's books, The Amazing Adventures of Lady Ella, the Listening Mentor, and all of the animal characters on this book cover represent our elevated listening team. And just for a quick call out, all of our elevated listeners are here in the back. I see Jeanette is watching. Janetta Barry, Sicaliza is her character in this book. And so Janetta has made it known that she cares about elevated listening and that she's incorporated it into her work and that she's an advocate for children learning how to listen. So our books are available over on Amazon. I thank you for your time, and I wish you a beautiful day, evening, life, and elevated listening. Bye for now.